Okay, YouTubers, JA Control 1 about a month ago asked me about how I irrigate on my irrigation system. Now I've got about 3 or 4 ways, so let me just quickly show them to you. I bought this at Tractor Supply. It's made to go on a T-post. As you can see, that fits over the T-post. You tighten it down with the nuts. It's brass and, you know, a little bit of plastic, but it's substantial. It's heavy. I think it's going to be a good little sprinkler. That is it in action. Better get out of the way. We're going to get wet. In my raised bed garden here, and it's done a good job. These are some Kentucky Wonder pole beans. But that's one way to do it, overhead, not drip, but overhead, and it's the way God does it, so, you know, it should be good enough for us. But anyway, that's just one way we do it, and that, I believe, is going to be maybe the best bet. It seems to be a good one, so let's move on and find another one. Okay, these are my grapes, and I did have a different drip irrigation on these, but right now I've just got the soaker hose. Got 2 of them. It's about a 100-foot row, so I've got 2 of them in this. And I don't water the grapes often. From what I understand, from what I read, the more stress the grapes are under, they have. And I know very little about grapes, but they make a better grape. So this is what I'm coming up with right now, and some nice grapes. That is a Southern Red. I'm not exactly sure the exact name of that. And these are muscadines. These 3 are muscadines, and they've got some real small ones on it. They started late, and but anyway. But this is one of the ways. Just the drip hose is one way I'm doing it, and we'll stop and show you another way. Okay, this is another way that I'm irrigating, and this is my blackberries. I've got 4 100-foot rows of blackberries, and I've got some drip line. I guess you can see that dripping. And it's they've got drippers about every 12 inches. About at Lowe's, 1/4 inch. You have to run a 1/2 inch supply line, which is what this is. I've got a little plug, hole punch, and you just stick a hole in it, put the barb in it. That's a L 90-degree barb, but you can put a straight barb or whatever in it. Close the end of the pipe over, basically by this little thing that they sell you, or you can clamp it off with some tape, wire, whatever. I put some Inline shutoff valves, simply because I may want to do 2 rows at a time instead of all 4 rows, get a little bit more volume. And it is hot. It's 100 degrees right now, and it's 12:30 in the morning, afternoon. But this is just another way. You got to have the 1/2 inch supply line. It goes to a 1/4 inch drip line, or you can use a 1/4 inch supply line, which I do on my apple trees, and I'll show you that right now. Okay, these are my apple trees, or how I irrigate my apple trees. Again, the 1/2 inch supply line. Just a T, and that's just a coupling, or that's a T rather. They make couplings like that, just compression fitting. And I suggest you get that instead of the, there's one fitting that just kind of slides in and then you can't pull it back out. And you have to cut it off, and really it's a pain in the butt to get out, because it's when it's in there, it's in there. So these are a little better, I think. Anyway, and this is another type of drip irrigator, and it's a 1 gallon per hour emitter, and I think you can see that it is dripping nicely. And I've got this at the base of my apple trees. And I've got 12 apple trees here. I've got 2 persimmon and a fig that are also out in this little orchard, mini orchard. I've got some watermelons growing in between the rows. I raked the hay, I'd mulched this and I raked the hay back to just to install this new line. I came through here with a brush hog and hit it and had to redo it. I got a few little watermelons out here growing. I'm not irrigating these because these are strictly the drip irrigation on each individual tree, and I need to come out here and set a sprinkler out for these watermelons. But anyway, again, that's how you shut it off. Close off the end of it, and I've got emitters at each one. Now, plus and minus. These are on, this irrigation is on well water. All my outside irrigation is well water. You'll see the brown stain there. That is an iron ore stain. So the water is got a lot of sand in it, dirt in it, iron ore in it, whatever. And because of that, these emitters are going to stop up. They're not going to go forever. Even though I do have a filter on it, I'll show you the filtration system here in a minute. But that's irrigating overhead with the big sprinklers. The water well, the well water does not seem, and I was told this by a guy that digs wells, that that's not a problem, but when you go to drip irrigation, it is a problem because of the sand in there, or the silt, and the iron ore that's in it, or at least around here. Just one more thing about the drip line. We again use the 1/2 inch, but this is 1/4 inch. So it's a 1/2 inch supply line going to a 1/4 inch supply line with the barb that I told you about. Punch a hole in it, stick it in. It can't be any simpler. It's just real easy to do. And then you can just stick the emitter in there, but just in case there's a problem with the emitter, I've had 2 or 3 that bust on me, break, whatever, start spewing, and they need to be replaced. So I put a hose on them. I put about a 2 or 3 foot hose on it, simply because I can come through here and replace it pretty easy. But anyway, so we've got a 1/2 inch line. I've got a T down here. They make, this is a fitting that's got the hose adapter on it, hose bib. So the hose goes straight in here, tees off, goes down, tees off, goes down to the next row, tees off, goes down to the next row. So anyway, this is the 4 ways that I'm doing it: overhead, soaker hose, drip line, and then these emitters. And with these at about 1 gallon per hour, you know how much you're putting on your trees. And this laying out in the sun will last, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, I guess. After 2 or 3 years, the trees should be established well enough to not need any irrigation. So that's the plan anyway. And I do some hand watering on the garden, some hand watering. And then I've got these, I didn't show you this, but on my grow arches, these are some cucumbers growing up the grow arch. On my grow arches, I do have some of these sprinklers. They from Lowe's. They come with a barb on it, a stake on the bottom, actually 3 stakes, 2 small and 1 big one. They're pretty cheesy. One of the reasons I'm going to go with the nicer one from Tractor Supply is these are just pretty cheesy. I put a couple of them up only to turn them on. They didn't even work. So, but anyway, in my garden here, I do irrigate from overhead with the grow arches. Putting the hook a hose, bring a hose over here, hook the hose up to it, and irrigate from the grow arch. It's got it up in the air, 6.5 feet or so. So it works out pretty good. Got a new load of mulch the other day, wood chips rather. So we're ready to start spreading them out. I'm kind of waiting for some cooler weather. This is some peas, corn. Anyway, that's about it for the drip irrigation. Hope you learned a little something. Maybe you can try it yourself. If you're anywhere down south, it's hot. You need to start irrigating. You can burn them up if you don't. Texas Prepper, we're gone.